Well, after a bit of a delay because I overslept and all, it is now time for my Week 11 picks of the 2018 NFL season. Last week, oh my god, another 8-6 record. God damn it, come on, whoever was on Sunday night, Monday night, oh god, the 49ers too. Come on, start winning all these games like you're supposed to be, for God's sake. I finally had a good week a few weeks ago. I went 11-3, and now you can't even get back up there again. Come on. Anyways, too, here is the playoff stands of the season, and today, don't think anything changed at all, as it's still the Chiefs and Patriots with the byes in the AFC, with the Bengals at the Steelers, and the Chargers at the Texans, and in the NFC, it's the Rams and Saints with the byes, with the Vikings at the Bears, and the Panthers at the Redskins, and my pick still remains the same, Chiefs and Rams in the Super Bowl. Just don't know who will, who would win that one until we get our Monday night game later on tonight, that week. So let's get to my picks. So we get started with Thursday night tonight. A matchup between two teams that are still fighting for at least a wild card spot, as it's the Packers at the Seahawks for the first time since 2014. And we also got our first playoff clinching scenario this week. If the Seahawks lose tonight, and then the Rams beat the Chiefs on Monday night, the Rams will make the playoffs and clinch the NFC West for a second year in a row, so be on the lookout for that. As the Packers absolutely destroyed the Dolphins, to my no surprise whatsoever, the Seahawks actually put up one hell of a game against the Rams too. They were really close in both of those games by and large, so they have a lot of fight in them. This game really could go either way, but something just tells me the Seahawks are just really running out of gas still, by and large. I think they've lost like 2 in a row now. I think the Packers will get this, but I won't be surprised if the Seahawks somehow get it too, especially since the Packers have now won like 3 in a row against them. After that, we get to Sunday, as it's the Cowboys at the Falcons for the second year in a row to get things started. As the Cowboys, holy crap, a convincing win against the Eagles last Sunday night. Holy shit. Bet you wish you could have beaten the Titans and you'd been in a much better position. Meanwhile, the Falcons, you laid an egg against the Browns. Oh my god, that was absolutely terrible. Oh jeez. Oh boy, well, this is really important for both of these teams to get this win, especially since they're both playing on Thanksgiving. They're going to have hard matchups going against their division leaders in that one, so this is a must-win for both of them until that first Thanksgiving games. Now, of course, the Falcons destroyed the Cowboys, remember, last year. Now, of course, this could be a defensive struggle, especially on the Cowboys side, because they got defense this time around. As long as the Falcons apply the pass rush, they could easily get this win. I think they will do it, but don't underestimate the Cowboys. We all underestimated them against the Eagles last week, and not only did they win, they put a good spanking on the Eagles. And then it's the Bengals at the Ravens, as this is a matchup with the number 2 seed in the AFC North on the line, so this is pretty important for both of them, as the Bengals got absolutely destroyed by the Saints. In other news, water is wet. Meanwhile, the Ravens, off their bye, got pretty much spanked by the Steelers. This is the second year in a row they've lost to the Steelers when they host them. That's definitely not a good sign when Ravens have done a very good job when they host them and such. As this game could go either way, as the Bengals already beat the Ravens earlier. Want to get that sweep, as the Ravens want to get their revenge after that debacle last year when they let the Bengals knock them out of the playoffs. I think the Ravens will get this, but you can't underestimate the Bengals. In fact, in the last 5 years, the Bengals have a winning record at the Ravens. They're 3-2 in Baltimore, so they can go in there and get the victory, so you can't underestimate them, but I think the Ravens still will get this. And then it's the Panthers at the Lions for the second year in a row, as the Panthers, Jesus fucking Christ, what a destruction the Steelers gave you last Thursday night. How the hell did that happen? Oh my god, you should have ran the ball by and large the entire game, since the Steelers couldn't stop you by and large. And of course the Lions are in free fall mode. They've lost 3 in a row now, and they are just completely falling apart and not having any chance whatsoever by and large, although they're still in the playoff race, so anything can go. Of course, last year the Lions almost beat the Panthers last year, so the Panthers can't underestimate the Lions, but we can clearly see the Lions are nowhere near as good as they were last year. So I think the Panthers will get this, but for like the 4th video in a row, don't be surprised if the Lions somehow pull it off either. Then it's the Titans at the Cowboys. The Titans at the Colts, as the Titans got destroyed the Patriots. They won 2 games that I'm sure a lot of people didn't think they were going to win, and are right back in the mix in the AFC South, along with the Colts. Now they've won 3 in a row. They're right back in there as well. And whoever wins this is going to have the second seed in the AFC South. So that's a crucial game for both of them. Cowboys could go either way. Matter of fact, I don't think the Colts have... Yeah, the Colts haven't beaten the Titans since 2016, I believe. The Titans, I believe, won 2 in a row now, so... This could be a hard-fought game. Especially, I think both games last year were really close as well, so it could go either way between these two teams. But I think right now I'm picking the Colts. Then it's the Buccaneers at the Giants for the first time since 2012 as the Buccaneers. What the fuck? You put 500-something yards on the Redskins, but you only got 3 points because you couldn't stop turning the ball over in the red zone. My God. Oh my, I can only imagine, I haven't looked up the stats, I can only imagine how little yards the Redskins got compared to you, and yet they just beat the shit out of you. That was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And the Giants, hard-fought game against the 49ers on Monday night, really good, and you managed to make the comeback and preserve it too to win it. So far, you can only win on the road, apparently, this year. Now, of course, last time these two met last year, remember, in Tampa, and the Buccaneers barely got that win, too, so... I actually think the Giants will get this one because the Buccaneers are a team that are inconsistent as hell. They can even put, like, every week they can put up a shit ton of yards but get no points whatsoever, or their defense is dog shit. And they're inconsistent as hell. They've lost 3 in a row. Fitzmagic ain't really doing much, especially when they can't even get more than 3 points when they get over 500 yards of offense. So I think the Giants will get this one, but don't underestimate the Buccaneers. Then we get to a big outer conference showdown. Who would have thought this would be the case at the beginning of the season, as it's the Texans at the Redskins for the first time since 2010, as the Texans off their bye week after they held on to beat the Broncos, and the Redskins, very convincing win against the Buccaneers last week. Like I just mentioned, they allowed the Buccaneers to get 500 yards of offense, but only allowed them 3 points. That is unbelievable. Now, this game is going to be so difficult to predict because I don't really trust either of these teams by and large. They are very inconsistent. At least in the Texans' sake, they've won 6 in a row. Redskins now, no, okay, they're all on a 1-game win streak. You can't really trust them. Matter of fact, I think the Redskins too, I'm pretty sure all but maybe one of their games were losses at home too, I think. That might be the case. They're not doing really good. They're very inconsistent as hell. I'm still not fully trust the Texans. So this game could go either way, but I'm picking the Texans right now. But watch the Redskins prove me wrong and destroy the Texans somehow. And then we get to our match that was previously Sunday night, but they flexed it out, as it's the Steelers at the Jaguars for the first time since 2014 in our rematch of the division round last year, as the Steelers absolutely destroyed the Panthers and are now within on a 5-game win streak. And of course, officially Le'Veon Bell is officially holding up for the year as he can't play for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, the Jaguars, oh boy, they got destroyed by the Colts and almost made the comeback still in the end as they lost 5 in a row, to match their loss total from last year. Now, I know I'm gonna probably everyone's gonna be like, what the hell are you smoking to think this? Especially when only 8% are picking the Jaguars, but I am picking the Jaguars still for this game. I mean, for God's sake, the Steelers were the much better team last year, and they underestimated them both times in Week 5 and the divisional round and such. You can't really... The Jaguars put a number on your ass, and I still got a funny feeling that you're probably going to underestimate them, especially since they're not doing as well this year. I think the Jaguars still will pull it off, but of course, I won't be surprised if the Jaguars lay an egg again and let the Steelers get them either. And then we get to the 4 p.m. games, starting with the Raiders at the Cardinals for the first time since 2010. Hey, maybe Matthew can watch the Raiders or go to their game for once. As, of course, the Raiders got swept by the Chargers. They have, I think, yeah, they do have the worst record in the league. What else is new? Meanwhile, the Cardinals, I believe, were on their... No, they held a pretty good game against the Chiefs last week. I was actually quite impressed. I thought the Chiefs were going to put like a 40-something beating down on them, but they managed to keep within 12 points and allowed only 26 points in total on them. This game could go either way between the worst team in the league and the worst team in the AFC and one of the worst teams in the NFC by and large. So I think the Cardinals actually will get because I trust their defense a lot more, and the Raiders are inconsistent. But I won't be surprised either if the Raiders somehow get it. And then it's the Broncos at the Chargers. as the Broncos have now lost 2 in a row. I think they're on their bye week this last week. Oh, no, yeah, they were when they lost to the Texans. And the Chargers won 6 in a row. They have one of the longest winning streaks in the league. 7-2, easily dominating, looking like right now they're going to have the one wild card seat fulfilled, and right now they're trying to catch up and maybe try and battle for first round bye or home field advantage against the Chiefs, and still no one is talking about them. Oh my God, what are the Chargers gonna do? 7-2 is still not enough apparently, and I think the Chargers will easily get this one. But I'm not saying maybe don't underestimate the Broncos, but come on. Maybe when they're out in Denver, maybe that'll be the case, but I doubt that'll be the case in Los Angeles. And then we came to a game that could have been good, but it looks like it's not going to be the case, as it's the Eagles at the Saints for the first time since 2012. I remember that was a Monday night game, too. As the Eagles, you blew it against the Cowboys. Why do you let the Cowboys at home beat you like that? That was pretty terrible. Fucking Dak Prescott kind of outplayed Carson Wentz. That's pretty shitty. Meanwhile, the Saints, no surprise, 8-1. They've won 8 in a row. They have, I think, the longest streak in the league right now, too. My God, after that show, just imagine if they didn't let the Buccaneers get all those yards off. They could have been undefeated right now, for God's sake. That's just incredible, as they're still trying to catch up with the Rams to get first round, number 1 seed, since they can't do it yet. As I think it'll easily be the Saints right now. The Eagles are just really struggling. They are a deep Super Bowl hangover, and it's quite unfortunate. So much for the double dynasty that we thought was going to happen. And then we get to our flex Sunday night game, which is the NFC North on the line, as it's the Vikings at the Bears. As the Vikings... Shit, I don't even remember exactly who they played off the top of my head. Maybe I'll remember in a bit. As the Bears destroyed the Lions last week. First time these two are meeting this year. They won't meet again until, once again, as usual, the last week of the season. As the Vikings now won, I think, 1 in a row, I think. And the Bears have now won 3 in a row. And they're finally starting to play division foes. They've only played 2 division games. Whereas the Vikings, the Vikings have only played 2 games themselves. Wow. So this game, it's going to be quite intense, hard defensive struggle, how I like them. I think the Bears will get this one, especially considering the fact that the Bears, the last 2 years when they played the Vikings, they beat them and then they almost beat them last year and such. So, pick the Bears will get this one, but don't underestimate the Vikings. And then we get to Monday night, one of the most anticipated Monday night games of the season, and in probably many years. It's going to be so huge, our Super Bowl preview so far, as it's the Chiefs at the Rams for the first time since 2010. And for all of you who don't know, this game was supposed to be in Mexico City, but it's going to be played in Los Angeles because the field was not good for the game, which is kind of weird because I'm pretty sure there was another stadium in Mexico City that could support football. So I don't know why they didn't choose that. I have no idea. So it's not going to be the true Super Bowl preview, since it's not going to be neutral. But hey, we know the Rams can't fill up a stadium, so a whole bunch of Chiefs will be there, so it might be still neutral. Anyways, this is going to be an offensive shootout, and I can't wait, although I still prefer my defensive struggles any day. As the Chiefs now won 4 in a row. No, yeah, 4 in a row, I believe. They beat the Cardinals, but you only beat them by 12 points, and it was very close throughout the game. I expected you do like a 40-0 lead or something like that. Meanwhile, the Rams, after losing to the Saints, they managed to get the win over a hard-fought match against the Seahawks. Jeez, this game is going to go either way. And like I said, if the Rams get this win and the Seahawks lose on tonight, the Rams will make the playoffs and win the NFC West. So they got a lot to work with. The main matchup of this is going to be, how is the defense going to play? We know these are like the 2 most potent offenses in the league. They're going to score, but this is going to be like the Super Bowl matchup preview. Whose defense is going to stop them? Because if any defense can do a little bit of stopping, that's going to probably be the deciding factor. And I really just don't trust the Chiefs defense that much. They have like no defense like they did like the last 5 years or so. This is just an all offensive team, whereas the Rams have at least some semblance of a defense. So I think I'm going to pick the Rams for this one, but I won't be surprised if the Chiefs get it themselves. So those are my picks for Week 11. I can't wait for Packers at Seahawks tonight. I most certainly cannot wait for Monday night. That is going to be sick. Oh, jeez, that'll be great. And of course, since next week, is Thanksgiving, and since Thanksgiving games would begin around this time, which is 12:19 in the afternoon when I'm filming this, remember, tune in next week on Wednesday when I do my picks then. Remember, next week's picks will be on Wednesday instead of Thursday, so I can't wait